The answer to pretty much all the questions about what happens if, or what happens to healthcare, what happens to immigration, what happens to economy, what happens to their passport, our currency. The only answer we have right now is we don't know. And that's because Alberta separatists aren't answering those questions.
Oh.
Now, to be clear, a lot of this is sort of a lot of what's happened, and a lot of the policies come from this government was in a document called the Free Alberta Strategy. So one of the folks that wrote that Free Alberta Strategy, there's Barry Cooper, there's Derek Frum, and there's Rob Anderson, who is Danielle Smith's right-hand man in the Premier's office. They wrote this document, and basically they talked about a lot of things about how Albertan can sort of assert its independence within Canada, so create a provincial police force, provincial tax agency, a lot of the stuff they've been talking about. But ultimately then it was like, hey, in the end, if the government won't play ball, separate. But in their process of separation, and they said, we should have a blue ribbon panel where we sit down and actually hammer out all these details and actually present the people of Alberta with a detailed plan of what it looks like when Alberta separates. That ain't happened. So if you ask Alberta separatists about that right now, they're like, we'll figure it out.
Well, no.
Where's the money? Oh, we got lots of oil. No. So they're just desperate to sort of have the question, get the answer, and then figure out all the details later. And that seems pretty crazy. You want to ask people to vote on something that profound and not tell them what it's actually going to. And that's what we have right now with the separatist movement is a lot of anger, a lot of grievance, and, a lot of big promises, but very vague. Well, some of them aren't so vague, like trying to claim that nobody will have to pay income tax because we're going to have so much money coming in. And so there's some kind of crazy stuff. But so much of this seems to just be about control. Right? And you'll hear that. Separatists talk about, well, Ottawa exerts too much control. Alberta should have the right to make decisions for ourselves. So you really got to ask that question because I think when we were texting, talking about this, you said, well, what happens with healthcare? Well, the healthcare system we have, so public healthcare that we enjoy, that Albertans, in a large majority value, is protected under the Canada Health Act. That is why we have public health care. And, we've already got a government under Danielle Smith and UCP that are pushing the boundaries of that to the absolute max, right? So massively privatizing huge parts of our healthcare system while they're underfunding, right? And just creating a lot of chaos and problems in the public healthcare system. So they're already trying to degrade and create that competition. Take away the protection of the Canada Health Act, it's a free-for-all. You can bring on full-on American-style health care if you wanted to.
And we're not interested.
No. And so the same thing with the pension, right? We're protected under the Canada Pension Plan and the rules and stuff that are in place there. You take that away, new Alberta government, independent, they get to set all the rules however they like.